Ladies and gentlemen, UFC 322 is upon us, and so is episode 3 of the Moneygrab. I'm Curtis Hoagland here to break down some fights with Andrew Morin. We're going to take a look at the 5 main fights on the card. Like usual, we're going to spend some time breaking those down in depth, and then we'll breeze over some of the prelims, see if there's anything interesting on those, maybe some bets we're throwing a little money at. Mr. Morin, how you doing, man? What's going on?
Doing great, man. Glad to be back for another episode, and even happier to be here for UFC 322. So can't wait to get into it, man.
Yeah, and actually a decent card set to take place in Madison Square Garden, which seems like they always bring a pretty solid card to the Garden here. But second place this Saturday, November 15th. It is the regular time for the pay-per-view cards. They had the one early pay-per-view that kind of threw me off here, but we're back to the 9 o'clock slot, 10 o'clock Eastern time, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Let's see what time prelims. So with that the early sets of prelims, they're going to have 2 different times for those. What they'll consider as the early prelims will be 5 o'clock Central Time, so that'll be 6 Eastern, and then they'll have I guess what you could consider the regular prelims on ESPN Plus at 7 o'clock Central Time, 8 o'clock Eastern. But like I mentioned, we're going to spend the main thrust of our time on the main card. First fight, opening up the main card, a lightweight bout. We have number 9 ranked Beneil Dariush versus France's own number 13 ranked Benoit Saint-Denis. I believe, Andrew, you started the last 2. I'll take a run at this one here. It's a couple lightweight grapplers to kick it off. So, fun matchup. One, actually, to me, one of the more stylistically kind of interesting ones on the card. You have 2 guys who are pretty aggressive. Both of them pretty grapple heavy guys. Benny, I guess now is kind of like the seasoned vet at 23-6. Derailed a little bit, and then he's kind of started to put some wins back together with the decision over Renato Moicano not too long ago. When was that? That was in June, so actually fairly recent. But putting a couple, after the couple losses, putting one back together, and I think he's going to have his hands full with Benoit Saint-Denis. But I think this is one of those where I almost think experience is going to win the day. Benoit Saint-Denis gets by a lot on physicality. He's kind of like the berserker, pressing forward, very offensive grappler, doing a lot of like body locks, picking you up and slamming you, shit like that. But Benny's pretty slick. He's a pretty savvy grappler, and I don't see Benoit being able to like muscle his way into like a head and arm or an RNC like he is against some of these lower level grapplers. I think Benny's going to be able to hang in there. I think he's probably a little heavier handed than Benoit Saint-Denis is. Saint-Denis might have the better kicks, but I think in the boxing, I'd give it to probably Dariush. And again, I think he's going to take the experiential edge here. So I kind of want to go with Benny on this one. What are you thinking, man? What are you leaning here?
Yeah, I agree with every single thing you said. I can see this fight going very similar to the Poirier fight where Benoit Saint-Denis took round 1, if I remember correctly. And then, Gate came back in round 2 and Poirier was able to finish him. I just think in this spot, what's tricky for Benoit is that if he gets Dariush hurt on the ground, like Benil's okay with dropping to his back, playing down there a little bit, recover, and then snatching up a submission. And I think, we've seen it in the past. Benoit Saint-Denis just crumbles under pressure. He only has 3 losses, but when he gets to those upper echelon guys, I just don't know if he has it left. And Dariush, it's now or never. If he wants a run at that title, this is a win he needs. So, with his back's up against the wall here, so I like Dariush here. I also like him by submission.
Ooh.
I think especially if Benoit Saint-Denis tries to wrestle a little bit, I think Benil will be okay with playing the ground game there for a little bit. Props aren't out yet. I looked earlier; they're hard to find, but I think by submission, maybe a plus money number there.
That'd be nice. That'd be real nice. Yeah, I mean he's plus 163, just the money line. So God, you would think submission or even just inside the distance, get the extra coverage. Both of them are going to be, God, I would think close to 300, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, not you want to play about the money line too. You want to play him at the money line, get the plus money on him.
True. Could always play it safe.
Yeah, I'd be shocked for a knockout though, to be honest with you. I think he has a little bit better like in the pocket type boxing, but I I'd be shocked if from range Beneil gets a knockout. But hey, anything is possible. So
Yeah,
we'll
I would
see.
agree. Unless he catches him with something crazy. If it was a 5-rounder, I could almost see like him fading in round 4 or 5 and getting some kind of like TKO or ground and pound or something. But in a
Yep.
3-rounder, I would think he's probably going to be safe.
Yeah, or even late in the round, maybe just play the money line to be safe, because late in the fight, if Beneil starts having his way, gets a ground and pound finish there. Yeah,
Yep.
great point.
Next up, we have a welterweight bout. We have former champ Leon Edwards takes on rising contender Carlos Prates, number 4 against number 9. Andrew, take it away, man. Lead on this one.
Yeah, dude, I'm pretty excited for this one. Carlos Prates is a big name. He's coming up. Leon Edwards, he's still young in the game, man. I was looking through it earlier, found out that he was still only in his, I think 34, maybe still under that 35 range, where the people start to get a little worried there.
I think he's 32. 32.
Yes.
Yep. Leon's 34.
And yes, yeah. So I think, I started to give the edge a little bit to Prates, and then as I started looking at this more, I just think Leon Edwards is going to be able to keep Prates on the outside and almost just point him to death. Like I don't see this fight going to be a finish. I think Leon Edwards can use his size more effectively, because they're similar size, similar reach, but I think he's got the experience. He's been in there a better competition, and he's going to use his range to the outside and just point Prates to death. I really think Prates is going to try to get in there. And hey, if things go bad for Leon, he's just going to take him down. We've seen him have that underrated wrestling. He had a tough go his last 2 fights, but I think this is a good bounce back spot for him. I think it's a little bit too much for Prates at the moment.
Damn. You've sold me pretty good on that one. This is one I've flip-flopped on. I feel like every time I think about it, I switch to the other guy. But like you mentioned, Leon Edwards, he's got two losses in a row, so he's in a spot where he kind of needs a bounce back. He's got the experience advantage over Carlos Prates. Though Prates does have like the kickboxing background, so when you figure that in, as far as a striking, match for match, I guess they're probably pretty close, but this is MMA, so then you kind of figure in the grappling advantage. And Leon did surprise. I know a lot of people. He surprised the shit out of me against Kamaru Usman when he got. I think it was like the very first round. He got like a little trip there and ended up like mounted on Kamaru for a minute. Like,
yeah,
crazy as hell. Also, very hard to hold down. And when I was doing a little bit of research on this one, I almost think it's the style of grappling. He does well against American style grapplers, American style wrestlers, because then you got Bilal Muhammad, who pretty well ragdolled him and like repeatedly took him down. Leon did get back to his feet, but Bilal was able to chain wrestle, and I guess maybe it's that like Caucasus style wrestling, it's the Dagestani style wrestling, all of that makes the difference. And in this fight, that's not even going to be a factor. Carlos Prates, it's going to surprise everybody if he goes for a takedown. I cannot imagine that is going to be anything that he's going to want to implement in any of his fights. I agree with you. I think Leon Edwards is the better point fighter. If he's able to stay on the outside and keep it a point fighting match, I could definitely see him winning it, almost like Ian Gary did against Carlos Prates. But Ian Gary, he had the jiu-jitsu option, though I would say Leon Edwards is the better wrestler. I'm just gonna fence it on this one. I'll take Carlos Prates just to take the opposite one of you, just for the fun of it. But dude, I'm so torn on this one. I would just sit out and watch it. Maybe the over.
This one's tough. I know when I looked, Leon's sitting at plus 164 as an underdog. The over, I believe, would also be a good one. I don't see a finish happening here. But I also do want to point out a little bit here that over 2.5 at minus 154 isn't bad.
Yeah,
that's not bad. I also think you could probably play fight to go the distance as well, which might be a little bit better. But I can also see some clinch work getting in here too. Mm-hmm. Like if Carlos Prates tries to push in and try to put the pressure on Leon, I can see him getting an underhook, or maybe getting himself up against the fence and then reversing him and kind of keep him there a little bit, playing up against the fence there. But yeah, I mean, this one it's a tough one. It's a tough one.
When you say he pressing him against the fence, Leon pressing Prates against the fence?
Yes. Yeah.
I agree.
clear there. But or even if
That's a
Leon
good
gets
point.
his back to the fence where Prates is up against him, and then Leon will reverse it so
Yeah,
that way,
good
and I
point.
still think MMA judging, if whoever's back is against the fence, you might be losing, So I don't know, man. I can see a decision here.
Yeah, the judging, I guess it just depends on which way the wind is blowing that day,
Yeah.
what what you're gonna
Spilt
get.
coffee, if they spilt coffee on themselves on the way in, if they stubbed their toe, the arena's too cold. It's you got to be
Yeah,
careful. You got to
where
watch out.
they're located at in the world,
Yeah,
geographically
exactly.
located, it's gonna make a big difference.
Yeah, exactly. Too.
So moving on, we have another welterweight bout. We've got two of them back to back. Maybe an even a more fun stylistic matchup here. We have kind of a classic striker against grappler. We have Sean Brady going against Michael Morales. I guess I'll lead the way on this one here. Like I mentioned, though, it's kind of a little bit more of a stylistic, yeah, like opposite ends of the spectrum. Both of them are fairly well-rounded guys, but they both pretty clearly rely on one aspect of their game, which is Sean Brady. He likes to hit kind of the big doubles, the big blast style wrestling, get you on the ground, and then he has like a real wet blanket, heavy pressure style jujitsu game. Which is any of those Henzo guys are kind of like that. Like they're known for their pressure. He's great at that. Head and arms, RNCs, Kimuras, all of those are going to be huge threats. He's got crazy upper body strength. Look at the guy; he clearly is strong as hell. Going against the dude and Michael Morales, who, like I mentioned, he's well rounded, but he clearly relies on the striking aspect of his game. He actually has a wrestling background. He's like a national champ or something in Ecuador, and then his mom is a third Dan or a fourth Dan judoka. Who also, I thought it was funny when I was doing research for this, found out that she tested dirty one time, uh,
Ooh,
got banned.
ooh.
So that was an interesting detail to throw out there. But
Yeah.
uh, young buck, Michael Morales, very explosive, fights a little bit longer. He's got that leg out there, which I think Sean Brady might be able to snatch up for like a single leg, dump him on his butt, and then try to work his way to mount or like a heavy side control and work his way to like a Darce or a north south choke, something like that. I'm a little torn on this one. I kind of, while the records would say that they're pretty close in experience, I feel like Sean Brady's been fighting the higher level of competition. This is a pretty big jump up for Morales to suddenly be thrown to Sean Brady, and I just wonder if it's going to be one of those cases where it's a little too much too soon. So I guess I'll go Sean Brady on this one. This is another one though at minus 140. Where's he at on minus 142? Maybe just play the money line or maybe just sit this one out. It's gonna be a close fight and a fun one just to watch. What's your thoughts on it, man?
Yeah, dude. If I could copy and paste your answer, I would just put it right here. Like I agree with you 100%. I can see this being a spot where, like Sean Brady was in with when he fought Bilal, how he was undefeated. He went in there. Everybody thought he was going to go in there and crush him, and Bilal kind of used his experience and showed him up. I think that's what's going to happen here. I think if it was just straight kickboxing, Morales has him beat. However, I do see those big power shots coming from Brady and just enough to kind of get close so he can get some sort of body lock or he can get down on the double legs. And I think Brady's going to be okay with taking some shots to get in there too, which, unless he gets clipped on his way in, I think Morales is going to have a really hard time getting out from under him. So, I agree with everything you said. I think the reach is going to be an issue,
Mm-hmm.
but Brady's okay with taking a couple shots. And especially after that loss to Bilal, he's coming back and he's looking to get it done. I would also look into Brady by decision. I know I've been saying that like all night, but 50% of Brady's wins have came by decision. So, I wouldn't be surprised if this one's a decision and going up against an undefeated fighter. Morales might be a little hesitant. I can see this one going to decision as well. So, yeah, I like Brady here.
Yeah, I think that's a sharp call. I didn't really even think about the Sean Brady by decision. That's probably, if I had to guess method, that's probably exactly it. So the over, any of those are probably going to be pretty safe bets there.
Yeah,
And then you
yeah,
get the double coverage on it. I think the odds though on a Brady decision are probably going to be pretty good. I think
yeah.
that's the
I
move.
agree. I agree. And when you're sitting at a fighter who's minus 140, I'm fine laying that. I'm
Yep.
fine laying, minus 200s on money lines at times because it could just anything could happen. So, when the number's that good, I'd jump on it there.
Yep. I agree. And Brady, his striking is getting better. Like it wasn't great. The Bilal fight left a little bit to be desired, but his last fight he really like showed some improvement. It's like, all right, man, he's starting to be a threat there. Obviously, people are with him are going to be worrying about the shot, worry about the grappling. So it kind of opens up that as an option for him. So it's good to see him putting in some work there and training with like the likes of Joe Pfeiffer. He's got big, heavy-handed dudes in his camp.
Yeah, 100%. And look, he didn't, or going into his last fight against Leon, Leon was never been finished before. Brady had no problem tapping him out. So, I don't think this undefeated record scares him. I think he's hungry. I think he's pissed off because nobody wants to take a fight with him. So, I think Sean Brady gets a big win here. He might be looking good for next title shot. So, I think that's what he's looking towards.
Yep. I would agree. He's one of these dudes who I think, with speaking on the submission finish there over Leon, I think he's just got that body type where if he's able to get a good bite on a submission, his squeeze is probably just stupid. His lats, everything are so big. I'm sure he just locks on you. It's like I always think of when Brock Lesnar locked up that head and arm choke on Shane Carwin. And you just you see him get to that arm over, and it's like, oh man, he's not really in a super great position. And then you see his back flex, and it's like so big. You're just like, oh my God, he's gonna pop his head off anyway.
Yeah. One of those when you're like, oh, I'm safe here, and then you're not.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And then you're getting the shit squeezed out of you. So we have the co-main event of the evening, women's flyweight title on the line. We have Valentina Shevchenko, the Bullet, versus Zhang Weili, or Weili Zhang, whichever way you want to say it, because I think they've got her listed the other way around on SureDog. Fun scrap. Mr. Morin, take her away.
Yeah, I'm super excited for this one. The last time I was, I thought that there was a card with this much star power has been like back at UFC 217, for me anyways. That was when Michael Bisping went against George St. Pierre, and then you had Dillashaw versus Cody Garbrandt, and then you had Joanna Jędrzejczyk versus Rose Namajunas. Like that kind of super fight is the kind of feel I get when I think about this fight. Now, I'm going to do a little fence sitting here. I think this is one of the biggest super fights we've had in recent memory. I think Shevchenko's phenomenal, especially since she got her belt back. I think since Weili lost to Rose Namajunas, she's building herself back up. She was a killer before. She's a killer after. I think she's on the rise, a big star in China. I just have this weird feeling that she's going to be undersized. Now, it's only 10 pounds, but I think, Shevchenko's got the reach in both leg reach and arm reach. She's got an inch in height, which I'm not too worried about. However, I think just the bigger size, she's going to be able to neutralize some wrestling that Weili Zhang is going to be able to implement here. And I think she's going to be able to keep her on the outside until she doesn't want to anymore. When Zhang Weili starts throwing these big shots, I think Shevchenko is going to be able to take her down when she wants to. And that's when it's going to be an issue, when she can't get up from the bottom. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Zhang goes in there and just knocks her head right off her shoulders. And then it's a double champ, because that's how it can go, And I think if she does that, I think she's going to be a big star, big star. But I like Valentina here, and I like her. I like the money line here, minus 125. I mean, when's the next time we're going to get Shevchenko at minus 125?
Yeah,
you probably won't. So you got to jump on these opportunities when you have it. And I think this is a big shot here. So yeah,
damn,
that's what I'm going with.
Well said, man. I think I'm a little bit in the same boat there as far as the fence sitting goes. I've been pretty torn on this fight, which is, I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like that means it's going to be a competitive fight, and that's generally what you want in your title fights. Like you don't want just straight up shutouts, like somebody just blowing somebody out of the water. Like you want competitive scraps. We have Weili moving up in weight, so of course she's going to be giving up some size. If you believe what Daniel Cormier and all them say, she's like the best athlete they've ever seen, the best athlete in sports, all this other nonsense. I do think she's one hell of an athlete. I thought maybe age was going to be more of a component, like mileage, stuff like that. And then I started looking at it. It's like, oh, damn, they're actually only like a year apart. The records are very similar. Valentina, of course, has the kickboxing background, but Weili did a bunch of other stuff that we're not accounting for in her record here as well. Um, I would say Weili probably does have the like explosive speed advantage, whereas Valentina maybe has the like overall raw power. Like if they're just locked up in a pure grappling exchange, like who is going to be able to muscle it out? Maybe who has the harder squeeze? Maybe Valentina. She's going to have a little bit of size. She's used to fighting at this weight a little bit more. Oh, I'm torn, man. I think maybe. So here's I guess maybe the deciding factor, which is momentum. Weili is on like a 5-fight tear. Since regaining her title, she has looked progressively better and more unbeatable, whereas Valentina has actually kind of looked at the opposite. She's actually started to look a little bit human in some of her more recent fights. She had the back and forth with Grasso. She was getting caught by Grasso, seemed to be slowing down a little bit, seemed to have lost a step, maybe. So for all those reasons, I guess I'm kind of talking myself more and more into Weili. So I guess, well, yeah, we'll go opposites on this one. I'll go Weili. I'll take the dog here. She's going double champ.
And that's great for the sport. That's absolutely phenomenal, especially in women's MMA. To have another big star like that is awesome.
Yep. Yeah, in that part of the world too. I think she's already pretty big in China, but for them to have the double champ, that's going to be massive. They need a big star, a big like star out of Asia, and have a double champ coming out of Asia. It's Weili. I think that's going to be massive.
And somebody who's also willing to be active. Like I can see her getting the title and then just keep
Oh,
running it forward. So, you know.
now that I might be the one part I disagree with you on because she's not. I wish she was a hair more active, and then I'd
Yeah,
be 100% on board with the Weili. But
yeah,
supposedly she has wanted to be, and they like scheduling and stuff has stopped that. That's what I
yeah.
always hear with her.
But I'm not surprised. I think a lot of fighters from, who are not like, I guess like I don't really know how to say it, but like I feel like the UFC really wants to get behind Zhang Weili, so they're kind of
Hmm.
like holding out to see how the rest of the division plays out before they figure out what they're going to do with her. If that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yep. Picking their
I know
shots a little bit.
mumbling over my words there, but that's what I was trying to get at.
No, I agree. I agree. They want to pick their shots a little bit, and it's like if you're going to insert her into something, why not make it like the most favorable kind of? Yeah, you want to groom your stars a little bit, and kind of
Yeah,
if you can stack the deck in that favor a little bit, why not do it?
yeah, exactly.
Makes sense. Makes sense. It'd be nice to see like her, like you said, win the title and then remain active. Maybe have a couple good scraps back to back, 2 or 3 more, and then retire. Just like sell off in the sunset, do like a GS, kind of go out on top. That would be,
That would be awesome.
yeah, best case scenario.
And I
Her
mean,
legacy would be sick.
that would be awesome. And like worst case scenario, you lose to Shevchenko, you wait a couple months, you go down, you beat the hell out of Mackenzie Dern, and then you got the title back. Like
Yeah,
that's really that's
for
worst
real.
case scenario for Zhang Weili. So
For real.
she's in a good position here.
It's almost a no lose situation for her. As you're saying that, I'm kind of realizing that it's like, so what if she loses? She went up a weight and lost to Valentina. Like, so
Very,
what?
very similar to when BJ Penn came up and fought George St. Pierre. Like,
Yep.
oh well, I lose, I still go back down, I'm the champion. So
Yeah. Exactly. All right, well, that takes us to the main event of the evening. Another instance of a champ vacating their belt and moving up to take a shot at double champ status. We have the welterweight strap on the line. Three-name Jack Della Maddalena takes on Islam Makhachev, Dagestan's own. He's the protege to Khabib. I guess I'll take the lead on this one here. Really fun matchup. This one, I'm very excited for this fight. Pretty big kind of implications for both legacies for the double champ status, and kind of potentially even like surpassing Khabib for Islam, but then to be the guy to derail Khabib and Islam's legacy for Jack Della Maddalena is almost bigger than being the guy with that legacy is the guy who gets to derail it. So I'm super pumped. I love stuff like that. I love the stories of MMA. I think that's one of the things that casual observers from the outside at times miss in MMA is like the stories behind it, which in my opinion is half of what is fun with these guys is like, What is their background? What's going on? Who's this guy's dad is a 10-time champion and he trained his son from birth to take on his legacy and like that type of shit. That's what movies are made about. It's awesome. So
Absolutely.
I'm just pumped for this one, man. Stylistically, we've got a pretty heavy-handed boxer, volume puncher, pretty unconventional in the grappling. Has struggled in the past with his grappling defense. Jack Della Maddalena has, but linked up with Craig Jones, who is, famous for being the second best grappler on planet Earth to Gordon Ryan, the eternal silver medal, but very funky, kind of unconventional style. Craig Jones plays a lot like octopus guard and just weird shit that he's now passing on to like the Australian team with Jack Della Maddalena and Volkanovski, who had some success in the grappling department against Islam. So again, it's kind of another like a legacy passing here. It's like Khabib's protege against Volkanovski's, the second coming of a bigger, younger, scrappier version of Volkanovski. So that adds just another layer to the story here. I worry in the grappling, like takedown defense, submission defense. I think he might be okay, but the takedown defense, Jack Della Maddalena is probably going to end up on his butt a couple times. So I think the question here more is, will he remain defensively sound and will he be able to get back to his feet? And will Islam fade ever? Islam's got good throws, good trips, decent striking, okay boxing. It's not like really stellar or anything. He's got a pretty good jab. He pumps out there. Good kicks to the body, rips him super hard, goes upstairs. Crazy power. Size, he's not. I don't think he's going to be massive here. I think Jack Della Maddalena is going to be about the same size. They're going to be pretty comparable with each other, and JDM's very scrappy. I think he's going to be hard to hold down. I've seen a lot of people picking JDM, and then of course you have like the built-in fan base for Islam that will pick him no matter. I mean, he could be fighting a silverback gorilla, and people from that side of the world will still pick Islam to win. I do think Islam's the better, more technical fighter. He probably has the deeper bag of tricks, the weird shit he can pull out, the last minute stuff he pulled out, like against Dustin Poirier, where he had that weird, like he locked onto his ankle and yanked him out from underneath him. So I guess I'll go Islam, but for the odds, the play is to play Jack Della Maddalena inside the distance or, KO or something like that. Play Jack, put a little bit of money on him, and then sit back and relax. But I do think Islam probably gets it done. So I guess I'm going double upsets on this card. We're going Zhang Weili takes the belt, and then Islam takes the belt. Mr. Morin, take it away. What do you think, man?
Yeah, dude. I this is a tough fight, man. I've also seen a lot of people going with Jack Della Maddalena, and they think the size is going to be a very big component here. I think just Islam Makhachev and coming from that Habib camp and that, Nurmagomedov camp and that style of training, that like I just don't think the size is, if Jack is bigger, which I think he's going to be a little bit bigger, I just don't think that's going to be an issue for Islam. I think he's going to be used to going through that. I think he has the confidence. Like it's almost like already a given conclusion that he's going to win the fight.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he's just talking, he's like, he's just gonna go in and become the champion, as if like tomorrow's, as tomorrow's guaranteed. Like that's how he feels. I do think though Jack Della Maddalena is gonna have to be ready early. I have this weird feeling that Islam's just gonna, as soon as they say go, just dive in right to the legs immediately, almost like Hamzat Chimaev did against Kevin Holland.
Oh, damn.
Like I don't think he's gonna even want to stick around to be striking with him. I think Islam's too smart to do that, and he knows if he's gonna get stuck on the outside like that. So I can see Islam coming in really early, diving in at the legs, and just getting something. Because I don't think he minds getting hit if he's going for a takedown. He doesn't mind those hammer fists up against his leg, or those little elbows in the clinch. Like I think he's okay with those. I think he doesn't want to get caught by like a 1-2 on the outside.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just have this weird feeling like the play 100%, as you said, is the champion Della Maddalena by money line at plus 270 or plus 260, whatever it is. And money's only going to come in on Islam. So if you're betting Islam, I say you get that bets in now, because as the week goes on, I think people are just going to keep dumping money in on him because he's the bigger name here. It would be something if Della Maddalena comes in here and just upsets Islam Makhachev, because then Della Maddalena is going to have to go against another killer, and I don't. There's not, in my personal opinion, there's not too many favorable matchups for him at 170. That might be a controversial take here, but I just don't think there's a lot of 170 fighters that are good matchups for him. And I don't think Makhachev's a good matchup for him either. I like, I'm going to personally play Makhachev at minus 270. The bet's already in, so
Damn.
that's
Okay.
what we're playing. I also like the under 3.5 at plus 125.
Okay.
So that covers Maddalena early. That covers a submission early by Islam. So I do like that there. So yeah.
So you think it'll be a short reign either way for Jack Della Maddalena?
Yeah, unfortunately, yep. And he's such a good striker, and he seems like a nice person too.
Yep.
I think it's just there's killers at 170, and the division is moving. Like the last weekend, like the last fight card we just had, the last 3 fights on the card were all welterweight. Like this division's it's cruising, and no rest for the wicked. Like yep. once one guy's done, the next guy's ready. So you got a lot of contenders sitting around there. Bilal, Ian Gary,
yeah, Brady, Morales, Leon, Carlos, Prates. I mean, it's fucking all of them.
It's killers, man. It's killers. the whole welterweight division, it's on fire.
Yeah.
So I don't think anybody's going to hold on to the title for a long time. I think it's going to be hot potato for a while. So
I agree. I agree. Such a volatile division. Like it's just the churn there is for real.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the aspects of this fight, so I was it's almost the opposite of the Weili and Valentina one, where I thought the age gap was wider there, and they ended up only being a year apart. I thought these two were a little bit closer in age. Islam's 34 and Jack is 29. So it's like Islam is pretty well established in his prime. Like this is pretty much the last year or two of it. Whereas Jack Della Maddalena is really, like, technically speaking, this is the beginning of his prime. 28, 29, you're kind of hitting it as far as physicality. Yeah. So maybe, I don't know, worth considering, I reckon.
Yeah, and they always say, there's a statistic out there of like 35-year-olds in title fights do not do well,
Yep.
So yeah, it's so awesome because like when you see this fight card, we're like, I don't know, and the odds are like 150 or 125 or those are great odds. Like that's how you know that this is a great card.
Yep. Yeah, I guess it's one thing if we're fence-sitting, it's one thing, but if the odds are also like pretty even like that, then it's like, okay, even Vegas thinks that these are going to be close fights. Like everybody thinks this shit's going to be close.
Yeah, and it's crazy because the odds for the fights opened, they didn't just open today. So that means even public money is still coming in and keeping the odds relatively, even. Yep. So
good point. Very good point. So taking a look at some of the other ones real quick here while we're here before we sign off. Early prelims. A couple that I like I'm interested in just from being a fan of a couple of these people, but I don't know that I'd put a ton of money on them. Bisinger versus Eric Makhachev. I've seen Makhachev. Bisinger, I feel like I've seen one fight of his. Has he fought much in the UFC, or does he only have like one fight?
I'm not super familiar with these fighters. The name sounds familiar.
He does have it's one, and then he was on the Contender Series. I'm like, man, that dude sounds familiar.
Yeah,
that was just in August too.
Yeah, so it was relatively, recent.
Yep.
I'm probably not gonna have any action on that fight, but yeah, like I kind of like those prelim fights that are early on in the night just to get the fight started. But you did have it pulled up there. I do have a bet on Angela Hill and Klein here. I like Angela Hill by decision. I feel like if this is a drinking game, every time I say by decision, drink. You'd be hammered by that. Like I'm like, I don't know why. Every single bet is by decision. But 14 of Angela Hill's last 15 fights have gone to decision.
Yeah.
So yep. I'm willing to, minus 500, do it. Like, I just think this is going to decision. I think even if she gets skunked, 30-27 or 30-26 even, I just don't think she's going to get finished. So I'd play, fight to go to the decision.
I would agree. If I can get this Sherdog to load, I'd like to see how many How many? You said it was 14 of her fights have gone to the
14 of her
distance.
last 15.
God
And
dang.
Klein is 4 out of her last 8. So she's more of a finisher. You know, so 4 of her wins came by decision. Still early on in her career, though, in comparison to Angela Hill. So,
Yeah,
you know, um, 40 years old is a little scary,
it
but
is, man.
it's still like being able to win like at least one of your last 2, like, you know, I think it's worth a little spread here.
Yep.
Because she also has that potential to go out there and use that veteran experience, kind of like, almost like a Jim Miller type fighter, where like
Yeah.
every now and then they're going to get a win. They're going to win, loss, win, loss. And they might lose the next 2, but they're going to come back and win. So I like Angela Hill by decision. To be at 40 years old and still in the top 15, that's pretty impressive. So
Yeah.
I like Angela Hill.
Still putting wins together at 40 years old and top 15 of the division is pretty. I'm just an Angela Hill fan anyway. I think she's likable. Like she's got a funny personality. I like when she does the cosplay shit for like the weigh-ins and everything that she used to do. Like she did the Dalsim from Street Fighter, and I still think that's like one of the best Dalsims ever. But yeah, I'm an Angela Hill fan, so I just bias will have me rooting for her if
Yeah,
nothing else.
and I always love the veterans fighting. I really
Yep.
do. It's awesome. So
Now this one here, I know old Big Gun was jumping all over. You got Pat Sabatini versus Chepe Mariscal. I'm a big Chepe fan anyway. The dude is just a dog. He's scrappy as all hell. And supposedly this line was pretty close in a fight that Chepe Mariscal has. This is a rematch, and he's won it before.
yeah,
Uh,
that's. I was just gonna say that. I thought this fight already happened.
he's a
Um,
dog right now.
I mean, at a fight where he's a dog, he already won. And it's like both fighters. If I had to guess, relatively the same skill level as they were before. I'd jump on the underdog here.
Yeah, I guess I'm not seeing what it is that like, where is Pat Sabatini? Maybe in sheer submission. Like, if this was a pure jujitsu match, like he maybe has the better submission ability, locking it in. But I don't think he has better takedowns necessarily. Like Chepe has pretty good throws. He's very explosive. He has kind of like the judo throws. He's nasty with the hands. He's very explosive. I don't. This is one of those that almost makes me think I'm missing something. Where it's like, okay, why is he a dog? He should be about a minus 130, minus 150 favorite.
Yeah, and on some of those, like with everything going on recently, with all these betting things, it's like, wait a minute, am I missing something here?
I didn't even consider that. Yeah, dude, that's a good point. Damn, now you really got me wondering.
That's all for shits and giggles, but who knows? Honestly, I have no clue.
Yep, they're gonna be throwing one. The he's got his buddies placing it all on him.
They're all in on it together. Yeah, they're all
Yep,
making money.
taking a bag to the window. That'd be sick. That's actually something they could make a movie out of when you're talking about MMA storylines and stuff. It would not surprise me in the least bit if there's a movie that comes out about all this crazy shit going on someday.
Dude, the James Krause
Oh
connection
my
is
god.
crazy. Dude,
Yeah, the double connection.
dude, that is crazy.
Yep.
Really quick before you move on out of the early prelims here, I like GM3 here also. Played GM3 by submission.
Really?
GM3 by submission. Don't know what the line is yet. I think the line's not out, but I'm sure it's plus money if I had to guess.
Oh, it's gonna be huge. It'll probably be plus 330.
He's another one who's okay with like getting his ass beat the first 3 rounds and pull something out at the end of round 3 for a submission, triangle or armbar or something. But then he could also get skunked 30-27. So I'd be careful, but it's worth a little sprinkle in my opinion.
I like the under 1.5 on that one as well. Both those guys don't have great chins. Both of them have been shut out. Dacus actually showed some decent striking his last time out. He kind of caught us off guard, and didn't he ended up? I think he KO'd somebody, didn't he?
Yes, or is that his brother?
I think it was his first one back. Yeah, it was Michel Pineda. He did it in
Yes.
August. Knocked him out. Went out there and blasted him.
Crazy. I did not see that coming.
Yep.
I did not see that one coming. Yeah.
Showing
Yeah,
some
man.
development to his game.
The under is nice here. You could get the submission. Oh man.
Yeah.
Now we're talking.
Under 1.5 plus 120. You could pair that one. Honestly, you could pair it with Chepe. You got 2 dogs plus 373. There's a nice little 2-piece parlay right there.
Yeah. And then that's only in the prelim. You have the whole card to work with still.
Yeah, you can work your way back into the night if you lose it on that
Yeah.
one.
Oh yeah.
This one right here snuck in on me. I did not realize old Malcolm Wellmaker was on the card.
Yeah, I think just from the
Damn.
story alone, you have to play him by knockout round one.
Yep.
Just on the story alone, I think this is a big card. I think they're looking to push this. I think they're also looking to push
Oh
him
yeah.
after his first debut, and he was like a pipe fitter, I believe, and then he quit
Yep.
his job, and everybody was happy for him. Like it's just an awesome story. I think UFC is looking to push him here. He's got a nice, favorable matchup. I'd play him by knockout. I would not be surprised if he's a really heavy favorite, though.
Yeah, let's see. Minus
So
163, so not huge,
not
huge.
bad. Not bad.
No.
It's still early in the week, though. So
Yep.
I'd watch that. If you want to play this, I'd play it early.
Yeah, go ahead and jump on it now, or see how they're doing on the weigh-ins. If there's anybody who misses weight or anything like that, that might have a drastic swing on some of these lines. So
Yeah.
keep an eye on it. That's one you might want to get your bet in now, though.
Yeah.
Wellmaker's got a lot of talent, a lot of hype behind him, which I don't know. Sometimes that goes in their favor, but it seems like more often than not, it actually ends up derailing and blows up in their face of late.
Yeah.
So
I almost
who
think
knows?
it's one of those, not to cut you off, but I almost feel like it's one of those things where, like, you have to, like, get it right before he crashes. Like, he's still on the come up. So
Yep.
he might have like a fight or two and then, like, pull the plug and get out of there. So that way you don't get stuck,
Yeah, get stuck holding the bag.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that shit would suck. Aaron
Yeah.
Blanchfield and Tracy Cortez, fun matchup. Tracy Cortez, pretty easy on the eyes. Aaron Blanchfield is pretty cool. She's a decent grappler. Also, I would actually say Blanchfield's probably going to win that one.
Yeah, I agree. I was there at UFC. I think it was Atlantic City, maybe, where Aaron Blanchfield went against Manon Fiorot, I believe it was. Maybe I was there.
Yeah,
I thought Aaron Blanchfield was going to win that fight. She went in there and lost. So,
that's
um,
exactly what it was. Good call.
yeah,
Good memory.
yeah, but she had a good. She's on the come up. She's still young. I think, unfortunately, Tracy Cortez could be kind of like one of those fighters like Paige Van Zandt, where it's like super popular, but unfortunately just doesn't get the job done when it's time to fight. So, and I'm a little concerned about the weight cuts. We saw her had to like shave her head one time or cut her hair off to make weight. Which I
Yep.
don't know how much that actually helped in the long run.
Yeah.
But,
That was a whole debacle. That shit was
that was
hilarious.
crazy. That was crazy
Yep.
too. If anybody's cutting their hair, just don't bet on the fight. Just take this one off.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't mind seeing her win here because I think I think it'd be easy for her to get a title shot too. I think when they're well liked by the fans, they get a lot of push behind her, and she can get it done. But I think Aaron Blanchfield's going to be the win here, probably by decision again. Drink.
Yeah.
If you're
Yeah. Say take a shot.
drink.
Take another shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tracy Cortez is the marketable, like, obviously aspect, kind of like Mackenzie Dern. So the machine would get behind her, but I think she's kind of hit her ceiling, so to speak. Like, it's unfortunately her ceiling is pretty low, and Aaron Blanchfield, I think, still getting better. I mean, she kind of, I don't want to say she beat the shit out of Rose Namajunas, but that was a pretty clear decision in my opinion. Like, she pretty clearly won that. So to be doing that to a former champ, whereas Tracy Cortez has kind of plateaued, it's like, man, this one's pretty clear.
Yeah, that was an impressive win too. That was good. That was big.
Damn. Okay. Case in point, literally just a second ago when I looked at the line, she was minus 235. The line's moving on her. She's minus 240. So might want to sprinkle on that one early if you're going to, or go ahead and jump on that decision as soon as they put out those props.
Yeah. Yeah.
Next, Roman Kopilov versus Gregory Rodriguez, old RoboCop, one of the best nicknames in the UFC, in my opinion. That's a really fun matchup. It's a real fun one.
Yeah, I like that one as well. I kind of like Kopilov by money line plus 140. He was last time I checked. But I can also see RoboCop coming in here and, excuse me, but doing what he does and derailing this guy. So and I can never get Kopilov right. He's hit or miss with me. Sometimes he goes in there, looks decent. Other times he goes in there and looks like he shouldn't even be in the UFC. So I'd be careful betting this one, but I like Kopilov here at plus money.
I would agree. RoboCop is a little hit or miss because I actually feel like there's a pretty clear path to victory for him. He's a jiu-jitsu black belt, if I'm not mistaken, and has shown some decent grappling ability, but he just doesn't do it that often. And it's like if he would go in here, get in on Kopolov's hips, take him down, and work, like a Kimura, or maybe work to the back, or maybe even just like go for ground and pound and TKO Kopolov, something like that. I could see a path to victory, but I just his fight IQ is kind of hit or miss. He gets caught, and then I guess maybe the ego comes into play, and he goes into like the bar brawl mode and starts slugging it out. And against a dangerous, volatile striker like Kopolov, I don't know that you want to. I don't know that that's the answer. So you probably don't want to do that. I would say the Kopolov money line, or even Kopolov inside the distance, or KO. Any of those are all pretty tempting lines once they drop.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you.
And last one we'll take a look at here, just maybe one of the biggest question marks here on the card. We've got the Bo Show, Bo Nickal against multiple-time Jiu-Jitsu world champion Rodolfo Vieira. I don't. It's a big question mark, man. Is Bo? Is he it or not? Is he a fighter, or is he a slouch? What's your
Dude,
take?
I think, I'm actually really excited here because I think, there's a part of me that like the big question for me is Bo going to go in there and is he going to be hesitant like he was with Renier de Ritter to take him down to the ground? Because I think Vieira, like pure jiu-jitsu, is better than RDR. So I think if Bo is going to go in there and be a little hesitant with the wrestling, I think it's going to be hard because I can see a position where Bo is going to be hesitant and he's gonna get caught in something. Like I just I kind of want Nickal to have more of like a development time. I feel like because like there's a
Mm.
big push. Um, oh man, I don't know, fence sitting on this one, dude. I have no idea. I'm gonna say Nickal probably. I know he's minus 225 on the money line, so that's you're laying a lot here with a lot of questions, but I also think he can shine in big moments.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's just tough because Vieira has the experience also. So
Yep.
and the it takes he could Vieira can be getting beat and then Bo tries to do some double leg or down in like a side controller gets a little sloppy down there and he can get snatched up in something.
Yep.
That's it's not just pure wrestling. So he can get caught in some stuff. So yeah, it's gonna be a tough one, man. This one's gonna be a tough one. I'm gonna steer clear on the betting side, but you know, it's tough.
Yeah, and it's just the unpredictability kind of factor there. And it's like, is Bo? Does he panic shoot like you were saying, and then he, gets something snatched up, an armbar or a neck gets snatched up in a guillotine? Obviously, Vieira is a pretty big submission threat. He's also one of those dudes who's not afraid to get tagged a couple times to land his own. Like he's not doing anything like super flashy in the striking, not crazy high level technique, but he doesn't mind sitting down on a big overhand, and that shit'll knock you out if it lands. So obviously, Bo has kind of shown a little bit of. Uh, I don't want to say he's doesn't like. I mean, nobody likes to get hit. That's such a cliche. Like, oh, Bo doesn't like to get hit. Fucking nobody likes to get hit.
Yeah.
But Bo just doesn't seem to do well as the nail. I guess he definitely prefers to be the hammer. And when a big dude like Renier de Ritter was putting it on him, he seemed to fold pretty quick. So I don't know that it's going to bode well for you going against another guy who is willing to bite down and throw if it comes to that type of fight. So we'll see. I think, like you said, leave it alone, sit out, and just watch that one. There's quite a few on this card that I think the move's probably just to sit back and enjoy them. Place the safe bets, and then just enjoy a good card for a change. It's actually a pretty solid pay per view.
Yeah, make sure if you're on the East Coast, you get a cup of coffee for this one because it's starting at 10 p.m. So it's
Yeah,
going. It's going.
another
Make
late
sure you're
one.
caffeinated.
Well, that is it for UFC 322. Della Maddalena versus Makhachev. Hopefully, all of us will cash some tickets. We will be putting out our bets on X, Twitter, whatever the kids call it these days. We'll throw those out. Generally, we try to wait until like around weigh-ins, see what the lines move throughout the week, and see if people make weight and stuff. But throw us a like, comment, follow, subscribe. All this stuff helps, and we will see you guys next time. Peace out.